Welcome to Everything's Fine Probably, a weekly podcast that's like a warm hug from a drunk friend who just read a good news headline and needs to tell you about it. I'm Jim, and every week I'm joined by Shelley, and some weeks we're joined by Stu too, as we dig through the chaos of current events to unearth the rarest gem of all, something that didn't make us want to scream into a pillow. So, get comfy, unclench your jaw, and prepare to feel marginally better about existence. This is Everything's Fine Probably. Let's do it. Welcome Shelley, welcome Stu. How you doing?
Hi, I feel marginally better already.
Good, I'm pleased to hear that. I'm quite tired this week.
Why are you tired?
There's just a lot going on at the moment.
It's been a bit hot.
Yeah, it's been a bit hot.
Yeah,
not slept brilliantly.
Oh, no.
That sort of stuff. So yeah.
As I said before the show, was like a tickle.
I mean, as I said at the time, it's a lovely office, Steve.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
If I didn't want it before the show, I definitely don't want it.
I would like that to not happen because I would feel really uncomfortable.
All right.
And we can't give you a tickle.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe it's jealousy. I don't know.
I think it's envy.
Yeah, it is. It's.
Yeah.
I just feel completely left out.
Yeah. Because it's so hot, I've just been bitten loads. I'll just show you.
It wasn't me.
This is not going to be good for the podcast, but I'll just show you that, Shelley. Look at that.
Oh,
A nasty little bite.
It's because of your delicious skin sausages.
I might well be actually. Yeah. But, all day there, I've got them all over my legs. Feel like I just want to rip my skin off, but you can't do that because it makes it worse. I've got some lovely cream on tonight. So
lovely cream.
Oh dear, yeah.
He's been creaming himself up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to a festival on Sunday. That was good at Milton Keynes. The headline was Crawick, and who doesn't like a bit of German dance, synth pop on a Sunday night?
That takes me back to that karaoke.
Yeah, and
I've got a video of Stuart laying down to sing.
Yeah.
What was it you sang?
Radioactivity in German in a karaoke bar in London, didn't I?
He
was lying down. Yeah.
It was like he was like the last act, and he was laying down on the stage singing it, and they were like taking all of the equipment away,
clearing up around
him.
Yeah.
You know to empty a venue.
Well, absolutely. So
they weren't supposed to be packing up at that point.
Yeah,
no, they closed an hour early.
Yeah. So
we've reached this point, we're done.
So that is my karaoke stable, Radioactivity, sung in German.
Lovely. I mean, we've all got our karaoke stables. What's yours, Shelley?
I haven't actually sung mine yet. I've decided because I've been trying to work out what would be good because I've never really been very good at picking the right karaoke song, and I've decided that Jesus He Knows Me by Genesis would be that's my dream to sing.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a good song. It's a good song. I'll be talking about music later and about how it makes how it makes you feel good and singing and all that jazz. So looking forward to that.
It's a fantastic story. That before we get on to it, I'd like to continue with my ongoing coverage of the UN Ocean Conference because I'm a fascinating fella. And this is the sort of thing I like to do.
Well, this is the sort of thing I've been waiting for each week.
I know, really.
Hanging in there. So let's hear the new update.
Basically, the conference in Nice has wrapped, and in a shock move, the world's governments didn't completely balls it up. In fact, there has been what marine experts are calling a glimmer of hope, and I think that's pretty much a rave review by environmental standards.
So what is the glimmer? Let's have it.
I mean, for those of you who have been following my ongoing obsession with the High Seas Treaty, and who hasn't, you'll know I'm tracking it like I'm its emotionally unstable ex. This week, the number of countries who ratified it ticked up to 50. And as you'll know by now, that's just 10 shy of the 60 needed to make it law. So we're almost at a point where the oceans are legally allowed to breathe again. Champagne corks can be gently loosened. And while Jamaica, Indonesia and Norway have all signed on the dotted line, the UK, our brave little island and self-proclaimed ruler of the waves, continues to approach this in the same way that I approach flat pack IKEA furniture. Half committed, vaguely confused, and mostly just looking at it from a distance.
Yeah, it seems like we only had one plan as a government, and that was to just not do anything.
Yeah, I mean, some would say it's working all right. I mean, it's probably better, given the incompetence of most of our politicians, that they don't actually do anything and just let the world kind of run. Greenpeace called the UK's timetable for ratifying the treaty glacial, which feels harsh until you remember that most glaciers are now moving faster than Westminster. It's disappointing after the shout out we gave the UK government last time out for their pledge to ban bottom trawling in marine protected areas.
Yay, bottom trawling.
I just wanted to bring bottom trawling back again one more week. I don't know if there'll be anything in the next 7 days, so give me that. This is quite nice as well. Also picking up speed, there's a growing movement to ban or at least pause deep sea mining, with 37 countries backing a maybe let's not destroy stuff we haven't even studied yet approach. So that's quite bold. So yeah, the Nice summit, it wasn't all talk. Some real actions beginning to emerge. Still unfinished business, of course, but when it comes to international environmental agreements, unfinished business is probably ahead of schedule.
Well, good to hear, isn't it?
I think so. We're getting there.
Yeah,
getting there. 10 more countries. If if we can just get off our backsides and ratify it, we're down into single figures, and then of course the pressure starts to mount. It's some good news about plastic. I know it's a weird sentence, but stick with it.
No, we want less plastic.
We do. So
I mean, the callback from last week, I did actually then go away and Google body farms. It is a thing. It is a thing. And it's been done in many countries already, like America and some of the Nordic countries. Not UK as yet, but it is a thing. So the enzyme, that was a brilliant story, that. Really enjoyed that one. Really enjoyed that one. So.
Well, this is sort of a callback, but not to that story.
Okay.
So according to a new study from the University of Delaware and Columbia University, plastic bag litter on US shorelines has dropped by almost half in areas where bans or fees are in place. 47% less plastic litter on beaches. That means somewhere out there, a seagull is not choking on a Tesco bag, and we love them for that. The researchers looked at thousands of beach cleanups logged in the Clean Swell app, which I think sounds like a dating app for eco-nerds.
Do you?
I do. Can you imagine that? So looking for a long-term commitment to sustainability, must love jellyfish. As it turns out,
specialist that.
That actually sounds like a really tempting dating profile compared to like most of the ones I've seen.
I thought you were tired of online dating, Shelley. If we rekindled your interest,
well, yeah. If I could sign up to that, yeah, fine.
Should do that. There we go. That can be our next. Now we're getting the pod established.
Yeah,
we
for
can
sure.
Get that set up.
We'll get that as a sideline, can't we?
We're on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turns out banning plastic bags actually works.
Yeah. Who knew?
Shocking, right?
Who knew?
It's almost like legislation based on common sense and science does work if you can distract the man babies who would otherwise block it by waving in exciting new war at them.
Yeah.
They tracked more than 600 plastic bag policies across the US between 2007 and 2023. Some were state level bans, others were local fees, and one was just a sign that said, no, don't do that. And as we know from our experience this side of the Atlantic, fees are sometimes more effective than bans. Apparently, if you charge someone 10p for a plastic bag, that sense of moral outrage becomes very eco-friendly. Also interesting. The biggest litter reductions happened in places that had the worst litter to start with. So, good news for the most trashed beaches. Bad news if you're a plastic bag with dreams of international travel.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I decided what I was going to say is more important than what you were going to say. Yeah.
Well,
feedback's a gift, isn't it?
I panicked for a moment and I thought, no, Shelley, keep going.
Well, as long as you've decided that, then I'll hand the floor over to you. So,
I was just going to say that I've
just thought of something really important I'd like to say.
No,
I just speak there for
you need to step aside.
I'm sorry.
And we'll open the floor back up to Shelley.
Right, okay, this is going to have to be really good now. I have actually needed to go shopping, but then not gone shopping because I didn't have any bags with me. And I've decided I would rather starve than buy another plastic bag.
So it's worked.
Working.
It's worked. Yeah. I was just going to say a similar thing. So, it's, it's as important. Maybe not less or more, but
I'll go and say what you were going to say.
Just when you go shopping, I always leave them in the boot of my car, and then I carry it out like this, and everything every single time. And I've got loads in my boot every time, never take them. So, and then I don't buy another one. So it does work. Charging works, I think. I agree with that, as opposed to bands.
And here's the thing, that drop in litter, it's not just been a brief thing, it's just kept dropping over time. No sign of going back up. So, just to summarise that story, plastic bag bans are working, the beaches are cleaner, and somewhere a crab is nesting in a real shell, not a co-op carrier bag. So nature is healing, slightly.
So we've got some nature stories tonight, haven't we?
We have got nature stories tonight.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to animals next, if we may. And
I
think because Shelley has found some stories about her very favourite animals in the world.
Cats.
We have been joined in the studio by one of my cats tonight. Sebastian is in here just licking himself.
Hello, Sebastian.
He wanted to hear the story about the cats.
You no doubt did. So, Seb, prick up your ears. Shelley, tell us the stories about cats.
So one story does really lead on to another here. And actually, I was pointed in the direction of this because my sister knows the woman who this first story is about. So
that's quite tenuous, though, wasn't it? Yeah. But nonetheless, carry on.
Well, he knows the owner of the cat. I suppose.
Even better.
Yeah, so there is this cat is called Mitzi, and she is a rescue cat from Aylsham, and she is up for a Cats Protection National Cat Award this year. She's going into be one of the contenders of the senior cats category, or as I like to call them, elderly babies.
Okay.
Just went so quiet.
I didn't know if that was senior in terms of age or position in the cat hierarchy.
Yeah, you can say what you like. This pod's very inclusive. Open, and anyone can join in. So carry on.
So Mitzi is a 14-year-old tabby. And her owner is called Georgina Chappell, who is a 39-year-old executive assistant.
Do we need to know her age? Is that relevant in any way?
Well, it was in the article.
Aren't we into potential GDPR breaches at this point?
But it's in the public eye.
Okay. Are you just reading from a magazine, a newspaper article?
Not directly.
Is this a special category data? I think they call that, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, do carry on, Shelley.
Am I okay? Am I allowed to carry on?
It's just we had something important that we wanted to say, so maybe it was more important than anything you were saying. That was all.
I'll let Mitzi know. I'll let Mitzi know that she's just not that important today.
It's Georgina that I'm afraid we're a little bit less interested in, only because she's not up for a cat award.
That might be relevant though. She's 39.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, so carry on.
Oh, yes, of course.
Do you think that, now I've actually sort of mentioned her, and I told my sister, that I was going to cover her story.
Sure.
She will be listening, and
Yeah.
she's now going to hear that you don't think her age is important, or
not to the story.
you're not really
It is. Just get cut to the chase and tell us why her age is important.
I mean, it might well be.
How did you feel about you telling everyone her age?
I would have like just got on with the story if you'd bloody let me.
Oh yeah, there was a story, wasn't there? Yeah. Okay, go back to that.
Thank you. Anyway, she's been described as the Florence Nightingale of cats because she actually identified when her owner was pregnant, and she also detected when she had cancer.
So how did she do that?
When before she knew she was pregnant, Mitzi started cuddling into her stomach all of the time. And she never used to do that. It was a really odd thing. So she noticed that she was snuggling into her tummy and cuddling up there. And then shortly after that, she found out that she was pregnant. And then all the way through the pregnancy, she would sleep right next to her bump. And then when her daughter was born, she was like a little sort of bodyguard to her daughter and would guard her cot and looked over her daughter like like a sort of a grandmother, I guess. Yeah. So then a few years later, after her pregnancy, Mitzi started to curl up and sleep under her arm. And so that was another thing that was unusual. And then after she did that, started doing that, she found out that she actually had breast cancer. Mitzi knew. So because of Mitzi's supportiveness to her owner, who's not relevant.
No, I didn't say that. We were just saying about the age. Was that relevant?
It's the age. Yeah. Because I'm still not quite sure how that plays into the story.
But anyway, did she win?
I was just giving you some background.
Okay. Did she win the award?
No, the awards haven't happened yet.
When are they?
So they are going to be in September this year.
Yeah.
Will they be televised? Because I would love to see a tuxedo cat in an actual tuxedo.
What, presenting?
Yeah,
that would be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's the National Cats Award. Apparently, they're going to be held in London, but apparently it's going to be a star-studded ceremony.
Sure. Who's going to be there?
The only celebrity they've mentioned on here is that Dawn O'Porter is going to be presenting.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
How old is she? I feel like I need the detail.
Would you like me to find out for you? I will Google it if you like.
If you would.
Okay. I'll take my time doing it.
Well,
so while she's doing that, so you've got a story about nature.
Yeah, well, animals. Yeah, there's headline grabbed my attention. That's for sure. Bear freed after head was stuck in plastic lid for 2 years.
We're not talking about Bear Grylls.
I'm not talking about Bear Grylls. I'm talking about a bear. So just while I'm carrying on with that, have you got it now?
Yeah, she's 46.
Okay.
Did I finish telling you about the cat?
Yeah, you can.
Later, or would you like to?
We'll go back to it.
You carry on.
Your story.
I was just filling, so I'm just trailing that for later. So you carry on. Carry on. That's coming.
But let's get back to these cat awards.
Would you like to know how old every cat is?
No, I don't think we need that.
Not that. No. It's too much detail.
Yeah.
Really.
So there are 4 main categories for the cat awards. And I mean, the senior awards, there's like 3 cats in every category. Mitzi is up against another cat called Panzer, and then there's another cat called Carrot. I think if you actually go on and vote, you can actually be listed for a chance to go and attend the awards yourself. So it's worth to go on and vote. And
how many times have you voted, Shelley, in the hope that you will be there?
I just voted 1 for each category.
So that's the seniors. What are the other categories?
So this one's my favourite one is for the connected cats.
Okay.
And these are cats that are kind of like a part of their community. They're a big part of their community.
Nice.
And then the one more third category.
the third, well, there's also the Family Cats winner, and there's also the Incredible Cats winner. And
Okay.
one of them includes a cat that actually is like a kind of disability support cat.
Okay, yeah, sort of a
Yeah.
therapy cat.
Yes. Yeah.
But so remind us, what date are these on? September? Is there a
It's in
date?
it's in September.
And you can vote now, can you, for your favourite one?
Yes, you can.
So how do you vote? Is there a website for that?
Yeah, there's a link for the website on one of our posts on Instagram.
Okay, so check that out. We'll
Mm.
put it on our socials later on. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to link now to your plastic story and your animal story.
Okay.
So bear freed after head was stuck in a plastic lid for 2 years. Michigan wildlife experts finally were able to trap a black bear and remove a large lid that was stuck round his neck. State bear specialist Cody Norton said last week the neck was scarred and the hair was missing, but the bear was in much better condition than we expected it to be. The bear first turned up on a trail camera as a cub in 2023 in the northern Lower Peninsula. After that, the Department of Natural Resources were on the lookout for the animal. Norton said the bear appeared again on the camera again in late May, still wearing the barrel lid. And the DNR responded by setting up a trap and safely lowering him inside. The bear was immobilised with an injection and the lid was cut off in 1 minute. The bear eventually woke up and rambled away. Just for a little bit of information, because we're doing backstories tonight.
Yeah.
The bear weighed.
How old was the bear?
Well, I'm just going to tell you the bear weighed 110 pounds, 49.9 kilograms, which is fairly typical for a 2-year-old bear. So there we go. Good for the bear. A little bit of good news.
Well, then I looked into this story, and apparently he had the energy to escape capture 7 times.
Oh, right.
Plastic
Yeah,
around his neck.
yeah.
And I think that's motivational, isn't it? Next time you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're wearing the metaphorical lid of late capitalism around your neck,
Yeah.
remember the Michigan bear? He got through it.
So what should we talk about next? Art?
Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah, you want to talk about some art?
You want to talk art, Shelley?
I would love to.
Unless you got anything more important, of course.
You are so unforgiving, you two, aren't you?
I didn't say a word. Well, don't drag me into this.
You've said plenty.
I'd let it go. I was done.
All right, well,
Get over it.
I think we'll leave. Just to emphasise your pettiness.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Crawick multiverse, I believe, Stu.
We are. So this is a former coal mine, which has become a work of art. This was in the BBC News last week. So this is the Crawick multiverse. It's a pretty unusual one. It was an open cast coal mine in the south of Scotland. It's now a landscape artwork created by the artist Charles Jenks. It was officially opened 10 years ago on the longest day of the year. We've just come through the solstice, just literally this weekend. The hope was that it would attract international visitors and help boost businesses in the nearby areas. So materials found on the site, including 2,000 large boulders, were used to create the work. The £1 million project, funded by the Duke of Buccleuch on his own land, followed in the footsteps of other works by Mr. Jenks, including the Garden of Cosmic Speculation, and also in Dumfries and Galloway. Have you been there before? The Garden of Cosmic Speculation. Sounds like a great visit, doesn't it?
Sounds amazing.
This work of land art, created primarily from earth and boulders on the site, celebrates the surrounding Scottish countryside and its landmarks, looking outwards and back in time. So the Duke, he was really pleased with the outcome. He said before it was a brutal eyesore. So when his neighbour, Mr. Jenks, came down and said, "Would you like me to transform this area?" he apparently said he was over the moon. So the vision of Charles Jenks, which he supported, was to purpose the removing of a derelict open cast mine eyesore to the creation of an internationally recognised work of land art. The ambition is to represent an artistic form elements of the vast cosmos in which our planet is but a minute speck, included galaxies, superclusters, and the multiverse itself. And the good thing about this piece of art is it's included the local community who now work there, who can visit there, bringing in tourists to the area. So moving away from coal, which we have in this country, to a scarred piece of land, now turned it into a beautiful art piece. And then going forward, the Multiverse Trust is saying now our aim is to be sustainable, both environmentally and financially. So a great, ecology story there.
Yeah.
And
I was just looking at it. I was just looking at the pictures.
yeah, beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
they're amazing. I was like thinking, what's all this fuss about? I must see this for myself. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Shall we move on to coffee drinking? Do you mind if we do that one next?
Don't mind if we move on to coffee drinking. Yeah, sure. So,
because I love coffee, so I'm
well,
impressed.
then I have some really good news for you, Stuart. In fact, I have great news for all of us whose morning personality doesn't load until caffeine hits the bloodstream. Here it is. Coffee might actually help you live longer.
Yay!
And
I knew it. I knew it.
In case anyone's suspicious, we haven't gained a new sponsor like Costa or Starbucks or anything like that. Although, if they're listening, full disclosure, okay, I don't drink coffee. I think it tastes like burnt sadness.
What?
Give me a proper cup of tea any day, like the stereotypical Englishman.
Burnt sadness?
I think so. But
I love coffee.
A new study from
Oh,
Tufts University.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like a mattress shop, but it's actually full of scientists. They found that drinking 1 to 2 cups of caffeinated coffee a day was associated with a lower risk of death from all causes, especially heart disease.
I knew it. I knew it. I've always known that.
No. Because that has to be a part, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The benefits drop off sharply when you turn your coffee into dessert. So if your morning cup includes enough sugar and cream to qualify as a liquid cheesecake, the whole living longer thing. Yeah. It turns out when your latte requires a spoon to finish, the health benefits kind of vanish.
Yeah.
They found black coffee or coffee with a teeny amount of sugar or saturated fat, like half a teaspoon of sugar, splash of milk, still gave you about 14 to 17% lower risk of death. But pile on the whipped cream, the caramel drizzle, brownie balance on the top, you're back to square one.
I've never really liked all those whipped creams on the top. I look at people and just like, what are you doing? That's not coffee, is it? Whipped cream, brownie, syrup. Just have a coffee. There's no. Or do you like all that, Shelley?
Oh no, I'm not so worried about that. I like a flat white, but I do like a latte, but I don't want cream and stuff like that. But I like actually having coconut milk latte.
Okay, yeah. I mean, latte's the best, isn't it? I think that's the best one.
Yeah.
But I've never been up for all the shenanigans. All the cream, and do you have nuts on them as well?
I don't drink coffee, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know nuts on a coffee.
I always remember my, when you used to have like the ice cream vans and you used to be able to buy like a screwball, didn't you?
Yeah.
They put the strawberry juice on the top, didn't they? And the crushed nuts and all that kind of thing.
And there was so little cream in the ice cream that it didn't actually it just turned to like foam instead.
Yeah. And then you had that little bit of bubble gum in the bottom, didn't you?
Yeah.
I always remember my older brother, he did an absolute classic. So he ordered the screwball and the man said, "Do you want crushed nuts?" And he said, "Do you want a punch in the face?" And I was so proud of him that day. I think it's the proudest I've ever been. Just as an aside on the coffee.
Sorry, Jim. Would you like to continue with your story about coffee?
If you two have finished your chat, I can come back in if you want. It's up to you. I was just getting distracted by
This is what happens if you try to speak about coffee when you're a tea drinker.
I love coffee.
I know you do.
I can't. I
But
generally
it's worth noting that decaf didn't show the same
no.
benefits, which may just be because
Yeah.
no one's drinking enough of it to count.
So it's all about
That's not
tea.
science.
Tea do you have similar effects for tea, or did it not mention that?
It's about coffee. Now, a story you brought up that I'm really keen to hear more about. You said you had a music story. I think there's even more to it than that. Tell us all about it.
Okay, is everyone here familiar with Joni Mitchell?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so this caught my eye. So this headline, Music Therapy Helped Joni Mitchell Recover from a Stroke, and apparently could ward off depression and dementia too. So this is back in 2015. Joni Mitchell suffered a stroke, and her friend, the neuroscientist, Daniel Levitin, said when she got back from the hospital, she couldn't walk and she couldn't talk. And the doctors were so pessimistic about her recovery, they hadn't really scheduled any follow-ups because they thought it was so bad. So for a while, it looked as though one of the most gifted songwriters of the 20th century was going to be permanently silenced. One day, though, the nurses caring for her at the home found Leviton's number on a piece of paper in the kitchen and called him. They had noticed that Mitchell perked up when she heard music coming from their phones and wondered if he had any suggestions for songs that she might respond to. So coincidentally, he had helped her to compile a CD of her favourite tracks for a series of albums for a promotional thing she did with Starbucks. He then put all these into a collection for her, and the picks range from Debussy to Marvin Gaye, all the way through to Leonard Cohen. Mitchell then began to make steady progress with the help of speech and physical therapists, but Levitin sees music as a crucial part of the picture. He says, one of the things we know is that music you like increases dopamine, and dopamine is the neurochemical that motivates you to do things. So having that music as a reminder of who she is and who she was and what she cares about helped her to do the very difficult job of recovery and to follow through with the protocols of the therapists. So he then goes on to say that music helps treat people also with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, PTSD, depression, flesh wounds, and back pain. But it does add up more than just playing something nice to take your mind off things. So the best evidence he has found for effectiveness comes from Parkinson's disease, where you've got individuals who have difficult walking because of impairments in the motor system. And in part, it's that in order to walk smoothly, that you need to have some kind of internal timer that helps you put one foot after the other. So if you play music at the same tempo as someone who has Parkinson as their natural walking pace, their gait, then their ability to walk also improves. So welcome news for those familiar with the sputtering and freezing characteristics of that disease. And remarkably, after having received this kind of therapy for a few weeks, they can walk with even without music. Good news is Jodie is well on the way to recovery, and with her friend, the music has helped motivate her, as well as three things. He says, as we sort of hunt around to find something that works, the music could even be a bunch of beeps and boops, because if that's what you like, then that's obviously what's going to motivate you. But his team focused on trying to determine whether the actual benefits of music come from distraction, from changing your overall mood, or as a result of the release of neurochemicals. And the conclusion is it's actually all three.
That's actually I can actually see how that works in a way, because Do you know, like, do you ever have that, like, if you're, say, walking somewhere and you decide to listen to music, and if there's certain music, you'll like walk faster?
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
things will like, because I'll think, oh, if I want to like listen to certain music because perhaps I need to be cleared up or like put into a better mood or
Mm,
something,
mm,
that like there might be certain music that I want to listen to because perhaps I got a bit of a hard day ahead of me.
mm.
So I want something that will make me feel stronger.
Yeah, you can see that with the sort of the Parkinson's, can't you? Because
Yeah.
if your internal timer is kind of not functioning, if you've then got that tempo, then you can see how that kind of helps you then begin to walk in some sort of
Yeah.
coherent manner as also. So, I mean, the thing is, you've got to like music, haven't you?
Mm.
In order for it to have the benefit. But that's incredible, isn't it? That, a singer-songwriter of that ilk, once they start playing music to her, began to make the recovery and got the motivation to come back and perform again. So amazing story.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, have you ever had such a bad day though, like at work, that you can't listen to anything on the way home? You
Mhm.
just sort of either like walk or drive home in like sort of stunned silence.
Yeah, I've had
What
those.
the hell was that?
I think what this story kind of tells us, if you're worried about brain fog or sadness or crushing weight of time,
Mm,
pick up an instrument. Hum badly in the
mm,
shower.
mm,
Form a band with your cat.
mm,
Be the Joni Mitchell of your own
mm,
home.
mm.
Because apparently our brains love a banger.
Yes, they do. And
So,
it's not always necessary about listening to, upbeat music, because if you're feeling a bit down or sad sometimes, there's nothing wrong with listening to music that matches your mood as well. It just shows that that's an emotion that's out there. And if that's how you feel and want to feel for a little while, that's okay too, isn't it?
It's
absolutely.
cathartic.
For sure.
Sadness is just
Mm.
happy for deep people.
Ah, well, what a lovely thought. Are we all deep people?
I'm just a bit of a miserable soul.
Oh, okay. I don't think so.
Thanks, Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a bit of an emo at the moment.
Mm. What's an emo?
Like emotional goths. I don't really know what it stands for, but like emo is emotional.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, you used to be a goth, didn't you, Jim?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Rod Hull didn't live long enough to change his act over time to Rod Hull and emo.
I've watched that.
Just as emo sitting on his lap,
Yeah.
occasionally attacking
Yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Would have been amazing.
Anyway,
Let's talk about something else. I'm going to pass over to Shelley because Shelley, you've got some great news about sports.
women.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got good news for women's sport.
fantastic. Far away.
Yeah, because this is going to be a good year for women's sport. So, especially as we got the Women's Euros this year, and I think it's the Women's Rugby World Cup.
Honestly, I compiled about the list. Right, over the next 3 months, we've got, as you say, the Women's Euros. We've got the Copa America Feminica in July through to early August. We've got the England's women cricketers playing one-day internationals, T20 and the 100. We've got the Tour de France Femmes. We've got the AIG Women's Golf Open. We've got the Women's Rugby World Cup through August and September. We've got the US Open Tennis and the World Athletics Championships, amongst others. That's just in the next few months.
Yeah, so we are busy. We are busy. Well, I'm saying we, like I belong to that world of
So which
really
competing in, Shelley?
So, what I wanted to talk about though was Green King Brewery, Green King, have launched a campaign to transform the viewing experiences of women's sports for fans. So, to do this, they are teaming up with comedian Maisie Adams to promote this. And what they want to do is actually what they've actually surveyed people who have ended up sort of saying that, like, so this is kind of like the rundown really. A majority, about over 50%, 55%, sorry, watch women's sport at home, compared to just 21% getting to watch it in the pub. 28%, I can't speak.
20. Yeah.
It's interesting
So 28% is what?
Oh, announcing 28% believe that pubs prioritise men's sport over women's, with almost 19% stating that they've never seen any women's sports in pubs or seen them promote women's sport at all. And 1 in 5 also, which is also 19%, they've confused me because they put two different loads of statistics. Like basically they're saying the same thing. Also say that their local pub simply does not ever show women's sport. What they want is, because then it's also just sort of speaking to fans about what they want, and there's a lot of women who would like to actually enjoy it the same way that men's sport is enjoyed. So they want to be able to go to the pub and actually have all the atmosphere and not everybody sort of all packed in and celebrating the goals together, or all of the things that's normal for sport really as far as men's sport goes. So what Greene King are actually also planning on doing, so all of their pubs, they will be prioritizing women's sport, and they will be showing in all detail, like say they're going to be committed to showing all of the women's Euros matches in their pubs, showing every minute of every game, which is exactly the same as they did for the men's Euros last year. And also they're going to be introducing new initiatives to help create an enhanced fan atmosphere for women's sports. And one of the other main reasons to try and like draw this attention and get actually this sort of enhanced atmosphere and fun and make it into a social occasion is that it then actually pulls advertising towards women's sports, which will then actually sort of help uplift the games and put investment into women's sports, because that is a lot of the problem. It's just it's not equal really with the investment that's going in.
That's it. Well, good stuff from Greene King there. I'll drink to that. And I think that's about it for this week's Everything's Fine Probably, the only podcast where a bear with a bucket on its head, a caffeine-fueled risk reduction strategy, and the UK's glacial treaty progress can all peacefully coexist over the same sort of roughly an hour. If you enjoyed this episode, just do the decent thing, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, shout about in the middle of your local Greene King during the Women's Euros. Bonus points if you do it while sipping a black coffee with exactly 2.5 grams of sugar. Find us on Insta, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere you already waste your time. Just search Everything's Fine Probably. We're the one with the bear, the cat, and the existential coal pit. If you tell 5 friends about it, a cat in Norfolk gets another award. If you don't, the multiverse collapses into a bottom-trawled void where coffee tastes of and all sports coverage is just golf.
That sounds like a great listen. I'm definitely tuning into that.
Thank you. Well, look, on that note, thanks for listening. We will be back next week with more good news and more bad jokes. Until then, please keep laughing, keep hoping, and remember, everything's fine. Probably. Bye.